that's okay. This is week 4 of the Frank and Yeti show. We're glad to have you. So far, we had a rough week last week. Yeti did.
Where's the 500 line?
Yeah, Yeti did the best. J-Ro and I went 2-3 last week. Yeti 3-2. He's catching up on the year. That makes me 11. Yeti 9. We're welcome here today with our guest, Mr. Cam. Not Newton, but Cam. Anyway, we're gonna get right into it. The first game on the slate here is Oregon at Stanford. We got Oregon a 10-point favorite over Stanford at the farm. Yeti, what do you think? What you got?
The Oregon Ducks, the Stanford Cardinal. This game's for the birds. I gotcha. I mean, Stanford 1-2. The Ducks fought a hard game. The first game in Auburn, 9 seconds decided that game at the very end. Stanford 1-2. They just traveled across the country and just took it. Absolutely took it this past week. I've got my money on the Ducks. Going with Oregon, Stanford. Just get back on the bus. You already at home, just stay there.
You know what? When I look at these two teams, look at Oregon. Oregon is also a spread option team. They like to run a lot of no huddle like UCF. It's almost like UCF, .2. Second time around. They got a great quarterback in Justin Herbert. They're going to pass. They're going to run spread option. They got great athletes on the perimeter. That's going to stress Stanford for a whole nother week of the same thing, kind of like UCF put on them. I don't think they can make the adjustment. I got Oregon in that game as well. Cam?
I am also going with the Ducks.
Nice.
Top 20 offense, top 20 defense, put up 77 points a couple weeks ago. I don't think Stanford can handle it.
Perfect. Our over and under the opening this week, 53.5. We've seen Stanford's going to struggle with this. Oregon's going to shut them down. 53 to me is a big number. I think Oregon can do it, but I've been trying to trust my gut, and my gut has been wrong, even though there's a lot of it. I'm going to go with under this week and hopefully get better at this.
All right. So that's our pick. We all got Oregon. The next game is Auburn at Texas A&M. Auburn played Oregon early in the season, so we got repeat teams here. We got Oregon, we got Stanford. Now we got Auburn. We've seen them before. We saw them against Oregon. They look really good in Fort Worth, Texas. So we got them again here at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 3-point favorite at home. Yeti?
You look at your difference in rankings. Auburn number 8, A&M at number 16. But the difference in this game is it's in College Station. It's at A&M. A&M's favored. You got the 12th man. You got a big crowd. You got a big stadium. SEC fight. If you look at these teams, neither one of them have an easy road after this. Neither one of them have an easy road at this game. I'm taking A&M because they're at home, not because they're favored, but simply because A&M lost a game, but who is it to? Sexy Clemson. Just like you said, when Clemson wins, they win sexy.
They win sexy.
They win a lot, and they all win sexy. But A&M's got something to prove. They're coming back. They're fighting it at the SEC. Auburn's going to try to hang on to it. I really feel like it's going to be a close game. But in the end, I'm going to go with A&M for the win. Sorry, Auburn War Eagle Tiger people.
Okay. Texas A&M. Yeah, Kellen Mond has not played particularly well. He's been spotty. When he plays well, he plays really well. But a lot of times, he's been down. I actually believe he will be the difference in this game, though. Auburn has a young freshman quarterback who had his moments against Oregon. But it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve, and I don't like the idea of you gotta play what you got. Auburn got that freshman. He's the best on the depth chart. I don't like the idea of having him in that environment. Texas A&M definitely has the advantage in that game, I feel, because you got a young freshman quarterback on the road at one of the most hostile stadiums in the SEC. Kellen Mond, I'm looking for him to have a big game in that contest. So I'm also going Texas A&M. That's my team in that game. Okay.
I'm going against you, fellas. Going for the Tigers.
Look out!
Mainly because I work with a guy. His initials are TK. I won't bust him out on the internet, and he bleeds A&M. I think the 12th man is going to be tough to beat, but I think if anybody can do it, I think Auburn can go in there and beat him.
You're believing in the Gus bus.
I do. I think I can win it.
You know, this is going to be a great game. I mean, that's going to be the one to watch.
Yeah.
Auburn, they're going to bring a fight, but I don't see it. Over and under on that one's 49. I'm going to go with under on that one simply because it's going to be a defensive game. There'll be points scored, but not a lot. I'll be wrong, but I'm real good at that too.
All right. Look, the third game on the slate, it's a very interesting game. Notre Dame at Georgia. This game was played last year where Georgia squeaked out a victory in South Bend, Indiana. This year, it will be between the hedges in Athens, Georgia. Georgia is a 12 and a half point favorite to beat Notre Dame. That's like a slap in the face to one of the most historic teams in the country. So, Yeti, what do you think?
It's going to be a game. Notre Dame is going to come in with their little shiny helmets on. But, I mean, Georgia, you got a quarterback that started as a freshman and has played well. You got to think about what he's done in his career. Just a junior this year. Will you see him in his senior year? I don't know. You come in wearing that number 3 tag. In my opinion, probably should be number 2. They've come out. The Bulldogs just brutal. Notre Dame, number 7. They're going to win their conference no matter what. You like that, do you? Oh, that's right. They're not in a conference because they're too good for a conference. They're going to see what it's all about come Saturday when the Bulldogs line up and they get popped in the mouth again this year. Yeah. Notre Dame's going to find out what real SEC football is about. My money, without a doubt, Georgia Bulldogs. You're going to see Georgia climbing all in that top 4 come into the season. Georgia's going to be in that top. Will it be number 1? Will it be number 2? Will it be number 3? At that point, it doesn't matter once you get into that 4 because
that's all it takes. Get into the top 4.
You got to think about the root of Georgia, and they're going to bring it. That's all I got. The woodshed will be in full effect Saturday between the hedges and Athens, Georgia.
Well, Notre Dame is not in a conference because they don't want to share that big paycheck. Let's just be real. Anyway, in this game, to me, I mean, it says it all. If you happen to pay attention to the recruiting numbers, Georgia has out-recruited everybody for like the past 2 or 3 years. This Georgia football team is without a doubt the most talented team in college football. Dare I say, even more talented than Alabama. Now, whether they beat Alabama when they play is and if they play is another thing. But they definitely, I feel like, have more talent. They have the best backfield in the SEC for sure. DeAndre Swift, Zamir White. They're a very nasty tandem of backs. They got a quarterback that plays well. He manages the offense well. I like them in this game. I think if it came down to just X and O's, I really like Notre Dame's coach. He's done a great job, but I just don't think it's going to come down to that. In the end, Georgia's speed, athleticism, the sheer number of 5-star athletes they can put on the field, they're pretty much an NFL team playing college ball. So I like Georgia. It's going to take some kind of doing. It's going to take a phenomenal recruiting effort and a phenomenal coaching effort to take Georgia down this year. And I feel like Notre Dame got a phenomenal coaching effort. I don't think they have enough athletes to handle Georgia. So Georgia's my pick. I kind of feel like 12.5 is that's kind of a slap in the face to a team that's ranked number 7. Look for Notre Dame to come in there with an attitude and ready to play, but in the end, I think Georgia just has a little too much talent. Cam?
I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna say it's gonna take a miracle effort.
You're gonna have to put on touchdown Jesus on the butts.
I mean, I wrote it really big because that's my team.
All right.
I just don't think that
We got Dog Man in the house.
Notre Dame or anyone else is gonna be able to hang with them for a long time. It's gonna come down to SEC championship game and then the playoff.
They've been strong for the past couple of years, and I think that they've glued it together. I would say they've welded it together.
Yep.
I'd like to say we're going to see the Dogs for a long time. I think we're going to see that number 3 fall off of them and only get lower. Because just like you said, just like I said, I think if you put Alabama and Georgia together right now, it would be a dog fight and the Dogs would come out on top. Over and under this one's 59.5. I honestly don't see that. You're going to see the Dogs put up some numbers. Fromm is going to air the ball out, and we're going to see some touchdowns. But I'm really feeling more of a 25-14 game, 28-14.
Okay.
But 59.5, I'm definitely going under on that one. It's going to be a great game. Charge your batteries for that one.
Okay. What do you guys know about that Mountain West football? What y'all know about that? We got a nice one here.
Thank goodness for the internet.
You know what? Utah State at San Diego State is it's going to be a big contest, and these two teams are going to be jockeying for position in that conference. What do you have in that game?
You got both teams coming in with big numbers. I mean, we've completed 3 weeks into the season. You look at it. I mean, we've already got teams with off weeks. Yeah. I mean, we're going into week 4, and you've got teams that have only played 2 games. So, I mean, if you look at their numbers, their quarterbacks on both teams are just putting air under the ball. I mean, Utah State's Jordan Love put up 710 yards in 3 games. No, 2 games. They had the week off. San Diego State's Ryan Agnew, 507 yards in 3 games. So you've got 2 teams that are going to throw the ball. I hope that they bring some defense in. Otherwise, it's going to look like a basketball score. I'm going with San Diego State in this one. They're at home. Got the 2-point dog, but I think they got enough in the tank to get it done. San Diego State on this one.
Like I said, these 2 teams are going to be jockeying for position in the Mountain West. And they're a competitive bunch. Utah State went out to Wake Forest. They fell 38-31 to Wake Forest, but we're talking about a Wake Forest team that's currently undefeated. And they beat the North Carolina team that beat the Miami team. So Wake Forest was tough, and they put up quite a fight against Wake Forest. San Diego State has beaten UCLA. So, I mean, all this Power 5, Group of 5, all this stuff, hey, you better know what you're talking about, because these teams from smaller conferences, they're men too. Utah State, I'm actually going with Utah State in this game. Like I said, they are 1-1 due to the fact that they lost to a very good Wake Forest team on the road in Winston-Salem. I just really like their chances in this game. San Diego State's going to be at home. They're a tough squad. To me, playing Wake Forest the way they did on the road says a whole lot more to me than San Diego State beating UCLA right there in California. So I got Utah State in this game. Cam?
I'm going to go with San Diego State. For no other reason than it's a home game.
It is a home game.
My cousin goes there.
Look out.
That's it. No other reason.
Plain and simple, right out there. That's right. Being from we're way down in the south, I don't guess we have a lot of experience when it comes to Utah State versus San Diego State. I guess you're going to visit California. You're going to go to California next year when Heather runs the bridge.
Yep.
California, just never been there. Never been to Utah. But anyway, this week, 50.5 is the over and under on that one. That's what we opened with, 50.5. I see that going over simply because you're going to have two teams that are just airing the ball, running the ball, throwing the ball, just everything. So will the defense show up this week? I don't know. This will be one of those games where I foresee a basketball score. So I'm going to go definitely with the over 50.5. I would say we're going to see 70 in that one. Simply because you've already got so many yards in just a couple of games.
Right.
They're just going to try to add to these numbers to put their names up there on the board.
Right. I'm excited about this one. Our big game, Michigan at Wisconsin. Hey, that's a old school Big Ten slugfest. I mean, if you know me at all, this is the type of game that I like to pick as the big game. So, Yeti.
This game to me is simply, I want to throw up thinking about it. Honestly, I've been one of these closet Michigan people for 30 years. Never been there. It's on my bucket list to go to the big house.
Ann Arbor.
I want it to be cold, and I want there to be just a slobber knocker game. I just want a real game. But this game, playing in Wisconsin, you've got to realize that both teams just had a weekend off, and Michigan lost a place, and Wisconsin picked up a place. So we started, before we picked the schedule, Michigan was number 10, Wisconsin number 14, and now that we're ready to put it on paper, I had to do some scratching because Michigan went up to 11 and Wisconsin came down to 13. They're playing it in Wisconsin. The Badgers are favored by 6. Man, I'd love to see Michigan win, but to see them struggle those first 2 weeks, Middle Tennessee State, out of a little town that I used to live in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. The Blue Raiders put it on them to get started. Michigan came back to life after halftime. To see that Michigan struggled with Army and had to go into overtime to win it by a field goal. I would love to see the Wolverines win. I would love to see them pull their stuff together. But I'm going with Wisconsin. As it may be a shock, and it hurts me to draw this line. I'm shaking. I can't even draw the line. I'll do a little line. And underline the Badgers. I just think that Wisconsin at home, they're going to put their big boy pants up. They're going to tighten that belt up, and they're going to lace their shoes tight. And I'm afraid they're going to give Michigan more than they want, because Michigan's going to wait and say we'll pick it back up in the third quarter, and by then I think it'll be too far out of proportion.
Yeah. How bad are you going to feel when Michigan win that game?
I will take the L on my board to see the Wolverines win, but my heart tells me that Wisconsin will do it.
Okay, yeah. Michigan has not played particularly well at all, but they are returning a lot of starters off of last year's team. Last year's team played very well. I really don't know what's going on with Michigan this year, but they are, as far as personnel goes, it's pretty much the same team as last year. So that's kind of a dangerous thing. At any point in time, I guess what I'm trying to say, at any point in time, Michigan could get it together, and that's going to be very scary. At this point in time, it does not look like they have it together. And for that reason, I'm going with Wisconsin. A few other reasons I like Wisconsin is Wisconsin has not been scored on yet at all. They have shut out two teams that typically have pretty decent football programs. Central Michigan and USF. They actually went to Tampa to play USF and beat USF 49-0. You're talking about a Big Ten team, big boys from the north. And when you say big boys across the board, Wisconsin is typically in the top 3 biggest teams in the country. Typically, they're big boy football.
Beefcakes.
They're 300-pound plus across the line. Defensive line is huge. They went to Tampa. That's what really got me. They went to Tampa, Florida, to play a decent USF team and beat them 49-0 in the heat. The first game of the year. That's crazy. So now you got a team that's big, physical, but is fast enough to keep a team like USF in front of them, because at the very least, USF is fast, at the very least. And this team is quick enough to keep this team in front of them the whole game. not even close enough to get a field goal. So this Wisconsin team could be very scary. Those stats scare me. The fact that they can go in the heat and conditioned enough to hold that team to 0 point and score 49. So I like Wisconsin in this game just for that simple fact. Cam?
I'm going for the team that is not Michigan. So, in one word, Army. They were that far to losing to Army at home in Ann Arbor. That's it.
110,000 people show up to watch you play.
Yeah.
First of all, I hate to revert back to an App State team, an embarrassing loss, but Middle Tennessee could have kept their stuff together and put it on. And then you've got a service academy that come in. I mean,
that went 10-2. Went 10-2 last year. Army did.
That's right.
So
I mean, it's
they're
a service team. I mean,
they're dangerous.
These guys are willing to put their life on the line. Why wouldn't they fight with a football? But
Absolutely.
they came into what should be a top-notch team.
Yeah.
Still were ranked in the top 10. And Army being a service academy with no rank, and just put it on them.
And they did it with 3 plays. They ran
Over
a
and
high
over. That's
school
right.
veer off. I mean, it's
That's right.
a triple.
Well, you got to think about the Michigan quarterback. Ole Miss's scraps. Shea Patterson, we watched him when he was here in Mississippi, and the water got hot, and he headed north. And I can't blame him. I mean, if a historic team like Michigan will open the door to you, I'd say you've got to walk in.
That's an excellent move.
To him, it's definitely a move up.
And you jump to a very good Michigan team, a legendary school. That's quite the jump.
True, and and
started right away.
I just really wish that Harbaugh would pull it together, but I'm afraid he's just a loose cannon, and I don't know whether his guys believe in him or not. I mean, the skill is just like you said, the talent's there, the skill's there, the history's there, but whether you can do that on Saturday or not, it's a different story, and you've got to do that. If you're going to carry a fan base like the Michigan Wolverines that are diehard. I mean, you got to stand in line for a ticket to get into that stadium for 10 years.
Well, you know it. The all-time winningest football program. All-time winningest football program, Michigan.
I mean, we're not talking about a Schembechler coach. And you got to look at what Michigan has had in the past 10 years.
He's had a good run.
He's had a good run, and Harbaugh knows how to win. I mean, you got to think that he was in the NFL, and he did great in the NFL. And to even question when he backed off of NFL to go into Michigan, and people are thinking, what are you doing? It's about that paycheck, but at some point you've got to make that paycheck good. And I'm afraid that Wisconsin's going to give them more than they want this week.
Well, what you got for the over?
The over and under on that game, 51.5, 51 and a half. Man, that's going to be tough, but it's at home. Wisconsin's going to run it, going to throw it.
These teams are very defensive.
They are very defensive, I believe, just like you said, 3 plays, put it on Michigan. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin's going to watch that tape. They had a week off. Mm-hmm. They had a week to prepare. Michigan had the week off. I hope that they used it wisely to look at what they've done by sitting still in the first half. So 51 and a half, I'm going to go with an over on that one simply because I want to see Michigan put some points in the game. I would love to see them win. I would take the L for them to get the W. But I don't see it happening. I'm afraid I'm going to come out with a W by choosing the W.
Look, thank you guys so much for joining us today for week 4. And please enjoy these games. We got a good slate here. This should be exciting. Thank you, Cam, for joining us today. And remember, if Cam is able to beat us, then he will get a I Beat Frank and Yeti on the Frank and Yeti Show t-shirt. And also, I think we'll give him $20 if he can beat us.
Sure, I'd give him gas money. Oh, wait, I drove.
So,
It's only fair.
thank you so much. We're glad to have you. We'll see you next week.
Hey, let's finish this game since we already got it dealt out. I need to get hit. I'm sorry, hit me. Oh, wait, I hit me. What have I got? I'm gonna hold. What you got, Frank?
A lousy hand that you laid out.
Oh, come on.
You're supposed to hit me first.
Oh, sorry, you did want to get hit.
I'll stay.
I guess since I've shown, I'm going to hold where I am too. I got a 20. Just like last week. Winner, chicken dinner. Chicken and waffles, I hope.